G'day, punters. Welcome. I don't think Peter was ready. He was, though. So, welcome to the deep dive, powered by puntingform.com.au sectional data. It's a database that we all use, you should use. Almost everyone I've ever heard of who wins, who actually bets, uses it. All the data lobs on a Sunday night, we get our teeth into it, even the Ascot data. And Ascot data is the best data in Australia at the moment, I'd say. It's definitely the most exciting product to bet on. And congratulations to Rorora for finally pulling their heads out of their own asses and introducing minimum bet laws.
Now, can I just also point out, I'm not sure, as you know, Dicko, I'm not frequenting Twitter very often, shall we say, anymore.
Who took full credit for it?
Who took full credit for it? Well, that's the question. Was it even reported? It actually lobbed through Parliament, published in the WA Parliament Gazette on Friday. I had a couple of mates that have been working in the government and they've been keeping very close watch, and they sent a message through and said, "Hey, you'll be excited." And I thought, oh, what is it this time?
Jamie Carr's moving to Perth.
Not exactly. No, the NBL's published in the Gazette, and I thought, right, that is outstanding news leading into a weekend of the Railway Stakes and a wedding. I'm just up and about. I'm ready to go now.
It really suited your set, which was profitable and very, very good. Price was outstanding. But just make the decisions in the morning and be able to get on result.
Yeah. I was just going to ask, did you see anywhere publicised the fact that this occurred on Friday on Twitter? Did anyone? It wasn't mentioned on the radio here. Didn't make like a small little footprint somewhere in the newspaper. I assume. I don't read the newspaper.
No, I was given heads up by like big people. So yeah, not
clearly newsworthy. It's only been 4 years coming, 5 years maybe.
Yeah, the industry's funded by the wagering dollar. The wagering dollar's been encouraged there, but we're talking about trainers telling premiers to get fucked.
Oh, exactly. To clarify for those who haven't caught up, it's from 9 a.m. on the day. It's basically how the NBLs were first introduced in Victoria, so we don't have NBLs as soon as markets go up. We might get there by, 2038? They got more important things to do, like selling the TAB to whoever.
And keeping everyone out.
Indeed. And look, why would you want them here when you've got clear Group 1 winners ready to go? I don't care if Moods wanted to bring across some shit B grades. It's
pretty easy for McGowan to justify his opinion. Like, it was the peak of a pandemic in Victoria, and we had grown men who too injured to ride horses still deciding to hide in cupboards to allegedly do whatever they were allegedly doing, which allegedly cost him a Melbourne Cup. Oh, imagine the head to us. Do you reckon they maybe has so much cash that it's completely immune to the head noirs, but couldn't ride, could fit in a cupboard, missed Melbourne Cup winner. All they have to do is hold on.
Could have bought a house in Perth as a result.
Permanent resident.
Well, indeed. They're going like hen's teeth, or they're like hen's teeth over here.
Unbelievable stuff.
All right, shall we talk about what actually happened on the track?
Yeah.
In a way, it's not actually that interesting because everything that everyone thought would happen did happen. But I'm really glad that it did, because there was a little bit of noise saying that, do these races deserve to be Group 1 events, given that there's no Eastern States representation? Well, it would have been nice seeing a few B graders come across and not finish in the placings, let alone be even remotely close to the winners of the WA Guineas and the Railway Stakes. The figure has come through for Western Empire winning the Railway, double figures, which is a strong Perth figure, but he had to do it off an even tempo. I think that is the key thing here. In terms of the overall speed for the class of the race, they've gone even to the 600, absolutely bang on, 0.7, and he's produced a figure -10. You look at the last 5 Railway winners: Inspirational Girl, Regal Power, Galaxy Star, Great Shot, Scales of Justice. His figure is about 2 to 3 lengths off the best of those, so Scales of Justice. But that was off a very fast tempo. He's done this off an even tempo. Now, what's he going to do if he reaches a very fast tempo over in Victoria, which inevitably he'll be there, probably in the autumn for the All-Star Mile, I'd say? He's got every chance of just exploding again. He's a proper horse.
I think one of the biggest ticks too, from a betting point of view, is his tactical speed and the way he's positioned in
Completely.
run. So, like, to be honest, I didn't really know this horse. I get them all sort of mixed up, and I just listen to you say this is a good one. And then when they jump, it's a Cerise and White and Pike. So I'm anticipating I'm going to be in the back third. And when it settled where it did, because thanks to your guidance, this was the last leg of that the captain's picks all over Australia. This was the last leg of an all up. It was a glorious set, that thing. But when he settled 1-1, I was like, something's gonna have to go wrong here for this not to piss in.
Yeah.
And the way it won, the way the race was run, you'd think there was at least a little bit more in the tank. And horses can't go much quicker than this horse closed out the race.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'd say it's as good a miler as we've seen this season. And it's got that, I'd back it to beat on Thunderstruck, who I think is like the sort of grouse miler. Won the Golden Eagle, which isn't a mile, is it? 1,500 probably?
Yeah.
But it won the good mile here. I'd say this thing's above it because it's got that tactical speed, let alone whatever else you want to argue about, its closing speeds and all that. But it's going to be in a favourable position on every racetrack in Australia, whereas sometimes on Thunderstrucks will be in unwinnable positions. Like if it raced at Ballarat on Saturday, on Thunderstruck might have got beaten.
Exactly right. But, I mean, let's face it, Racing Victoria talks about the All-Star Mile. Well, get to work and make it happen. Western Empire versus I'm Thunderstruck. Get some other decent milers, some other strong performers over the trip. Just get them all together in the same room and see who's the best. Make it a proper race.
Yeah. It's a really great place to watch a bet at. Winning helps, obviously, but the Ascot track's always often in great condition. The sun's out, and they accelerate sort of around the corner and down that hill. It's good to the eye. It's a little bit like when Caulfield's perfect.
Yep.
He rode some outstanding races, and maybe where he zigged when he should have zagged, and God bless you, Willie, was when we were on in the next race after this.
Yeah, Angelic
Miss. I don't think Pikey knocks off Angelic Miss. I think Angelic Miss wins, either way.
Yeah.
But thank you, William. Thank you. But I just still don't think he would have won.
Yeah, Chris Palmer gave Angelic Miss just the perfect steer, came off the fence at the right time. He did at the start before on the same horse, but that was the first time she's ever settled rails and run, which I don't think that's a negative. I think it's just an unknown. And the market certainly thought that as well, because I think she jumped 320 or something like that.
Rails and Run was a pretty good place to be, I thought, on Saturday. If you take out Western Empire, who is clearly like a freak, you then sort of only got half of them that weren't Rails and Run.
Yeah, it was pretty much even for the most part. Lanes 1 to 2 in the straight weren't great, but you often get that when the track's been verti-drained. I think that was also just more momentum as well. But it did mean that if you were a leader, you had to try and angle off the fence to show your best. So OSL was probably a slightly more advantaged spot, but that's probably a little bit nitpicky as well. It seemed like there wasn't much southwesterly on course on the day, which certainly helped those horses up front just show a little bit more as well. Obviously, the other feature was Treasured Star winning the WA Guineas. The overall figure's quite plain. The best part at 9 lengths inferior to Western Empire, which you expect. Bob has already come out and said that Treasured Star won't be going to the Kingston Town Classic, which is a little bit disappointing. It would have been great to see the 3-year-old there with 50 kilos up against Western Empire, up against Regal Power. But equally, Pike has already committed to Western Empire, so then who's going down to 50 kilos to ride Treasured Star when you're not allowed to bring jockeys from over east across? So you can understand that.
Which you can understand because they hide in cupboards.
Yeah. Well, indeed. But look, overall, as visually good as Treasured Star was, still has some improvement to go to be considered a genuine Group 1 horse. Not saying she doesn't have the ability, but just on terms of the pure numbers, has that bit of improvement to go.
It was pretty glorious.
Oh, completely.
I don't know what else she sort of needed to do. I'd be. I think she's flying.
Yeah.
But again, the map tick for the other horse is a big tick,
Yeah.
isn't it? What about a horse, Peter, in race, the winner of race 3, Expressionist? The way I read data, this is a pretty good horse.
Has been a horse that's been inconsistent, I think. That's probably been the main knock on it previously. I think it really appreciated a fast tempo. I'm not convinced it wins the race if Concord Zone got a clear run at the top of the straight. And I would expect Concord Zone gets piked back on next start and wins. Unfortunately, it'll be at around $2.50 or so. For those who got my set, it was marked around that $8 mark. I basically had a small question mark on whether or not Rails and Run was holding up by that stage. I think Concord Zone jumped around $9.50 or so, and yeah, if you had a little play, you would have been feeling a bit unwell at the top of the straight, but you do get that.
So, but Rails and Run held up at least the last 2 races, didn't it?
Yeah, completely.
Fascinating day.
Yeah, we go to the Winterbottom this Saturday. Obviously, Elite Street will be a very short favourite, but we've also got old mate Outrageous having his first start over here for Luke Fernie. So,
Ex-Hawks?
Yeah.
Saturday winner, maybe Carnival winner.
Yeah, exactly. I think probably would have been thereabouts in the market for maybe 1 or 2 features. I'll have to go back and have a look at his career. But we've seen a few former Eastern States horses get a new lease of life over here over the last couple of seasons. So we'll see if this horse becomes one of them.
What else should we talk about at Ascot, Peter?
Well, I need to go back and watch a few replays. That will be today's job.
Is there a horse outside of Western Empire, Angelic Miss, Treasured Star that you want to follow? And also, God Bless Pro Consent.
That was relatively painless, wasn't it?
That's a lie. You're lying. And so is everyone inside the mailbag team, because everyone was shitting their pants and they admitted that on the corner. I actually wasn't, because it was the first race I've properly watched, and I was like, he's probably where he wants to be.
Yeah.
And it looked like good tempo.
I
think everyone got a bit wobbly because it was a bigger bet and we needed the momentum, and the leader was a long way in front.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden we were about 20 lengths in front, and it was glorious.
Good leader as well.
It was over 150 metres out, Peter. It was over. The job was done.
Yeah.
So was there a horse that you wanted to follow?
Can I follow my own horse, Solea? No, I won't put that pressure on her.
Okay.
I'll follow Concord Zone.
Concord Zone and Solaya punters. That's the horses we're following out of Ascot the 20th of November. What else should we do, Pete?
Well, let's have a look at Ballarat, shall we? Now, just running through the data, if you set it rearward, you could not win. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's classic Ballarat. We talked about it sort of leading into the meeting. The one thing it rarely ever does at Ballarat is play fairly. It'll have a distinct pattern. I have a hard time sort of stepping into Galligados horses on a Saturday. Maybe I've probably pulled them off the bench now and put the McAvoys back on the bench. I don't know why I got them off. I should have left them there. But this thing in the second last, the winner, Typhoon Harmony, who's run the biggest figure of the day, -7 figure on the punting form all average benchmarks. It mapped to probably Land Coffin, which was just a grouse spot to be. Just Benjamin was Coffin. Zaydani was like Rails and Run 3 back. Marabi led. Ocean Beyond Coffin. Duchess of Dorset 1 out 1 back. Decent Rain might have been 1 out 1 back. I'm not looking at the data, so if you've got the data, check that. That's off the top of my head. But Aqua Girl was back and wide, which was fascinating. And if we had a bet into the race, I love this horse. A couple of really nice blokes in the ownership. So I've followed it. They've asked me questions about it previously, and I would have thrown up if I backed it in run that didn't lead, because that's what I think it should do. And it was one of the only horses to sort of get a little bit back and run on. Off a disgracefully slow tempo. Ballarat doing Ballarat things.
Oh, completely. I was just having a look at the Typhoon Harmony data of the very fast tempo. 12.3 lengths fast to the 600, and that explains why some of these horses have been beaten 18 lengths.
Mm.
Like, the field completely just fractured open.
Yeah, because it's essentially like it's 10 races, which is too many too. I don't know how or why they do it in Sydney. I'd love to see. Kim Jong doesn't release the data of the betting.
No.
Like if people are betting, then I suppose we have to because that's what fuels the engine, right? But God, it was a long day in Melbourne. I hope they don't do it down here, the 10 races.
Less is more.
I think, yeah, less is more. I think, although it was like a bit of a low meeting, I reckon Decent Rain's a decent horse. I reckon Duchess of Dorset's a good horse and in a good camp to pick off races and be patient. And just has that racing style that really suits. A classic little pearl there too. If you get into it, you can really forgive a horse that not even fails but doesn't win down the straight and gets back around a bend if it has around the bend form and vice versa. So you might have a horse that SP's $2 at Caulfield, fails, but it's won previously at Flemington. The next start it goes back to Flemington down the straight and you get $5 and you can just ignore that run around the bend and back it down the straight. Duchess of Dorset was the reverse of that. Had a really good SP in a decent race at Flemington. Willow was off, Linda was on, which I think is a positive jockey switch for this style of horse.
Definitely.
This was the ride of the day. Had heaps more if they needed it, I think. And I think Ocean Beyond's a nice horse in a good camp. I think Bowman can train. I think you can sort of have a little bit of confidence with it moving forward. That they'll try and pick off good races, I'd assume.
What do you make of Marabi? That was the horse that obviously we were so interested in pre-meet.
I had like a real flary try to try and get it into this horse. I didn't think it would happen. It didn't.
How did that work out?
And I tried to do it before Saturday because I was convinced it was going to piss in.
Yeah.
Now, I reckon this is a group horse, like Group 2, Group 1 maybe. I think this is a beast. The sectionals it's run are incredible. Like, it's the fastest close in the race and it led the race.
Yeah.
It's a fucking, like, you don't see that very often. I know this is a low race and a low meeting, but it did what it had to do. It's got that tactical speed. It's got that SP profile. It's in a really good camp. They're obviously very patient with it. The owners. She's a 5-year-old mare now. I think this preparation and the next could be really exciting, and I don't think there's a ceiling on where she could get to. I think she's one of the more exciting horses in Australia.
I would say, just looking at the sectional breakdown, she probably tired out over the last 200, despite the fact she was still the fastest in the race. So I think that's almost like that little bit of fitness. First start in 246 days. So,
yep, and also it's Ballarat. It's not Belmont and Ascot. It's like an uphill grind, sort of. It goes for a while, that straight versus a sort of Caulfield Valley.
Yeah.
I just think she's a really exciting horse, and particularly for this time of year. She's the most exciting horse in Victoria at the moment, in my opinion.
I would completely agree with that. It's hard to really make a case for anything else this time of year, but
I'm really glad too, personally, and as a business, whatever, we stepped in and backed her after first good trial. The second trial a little bit dodgy because I don't think she'll be a backable price again this prep if she stays in Victoria, and it'll do my head in.
That's one of my little pearls, actually. If the horse has 2 trials and you really like the first but not the second, go off the first.
Yeah.
As opposed to the other way around. I think the other way around, you can expect that with fitness, and you're not actually sure if the horse has improved or it's just more like a fitness boost.
That's another thing of like how much fucking time and everything we do is the same, and I think that's my idea. But now you've said it, I remember it's yours.
We're just.
I literally talked to Jackson about it. It's like, let's just go off his first trial.
Yeah.
They'll just probably they don't care about the second trial because it just went so good in the first trial.
Yeah.
I was thinking that was mine, but no, I do remember now that is yours. So thank you for that.
No worries. I think that was a midweek masterclass for one of the first ones I threw out.
Teamwork makes the dream work, baby.
Indeed. The team is going. Well, we always are.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah,
Marabi's a horse to follow from Ballarat, along with what's one other I half liked.
Is that Ocean Beyond? Is that the one?
Sorry, got the fossil in town and just trying to keep an eye on him. Unbelievable stuff.
While
This
you
is
do that,
this is really good content.
I was
Sorry,
going to
guys.
say, while you're doing that, I've just got up the calendar for the week ahead. So,
Way to go, Paula.
way to go,
Way to
Paula.
go, Paula.
All right, so you've got Geelong tomorrow. You've had a bet at Hamilton today, but that's irrelevant, I think, by the time this goes up. Royal Sandown Wednesday, Bendigo Thursday, Valley Friday night, bless it. And then Caulfield this Saturday is a zipping classic.
It's even bigger than that. We're going to bet 7 days a week. 7 days this week, for sure. We bet today. It's a beautiful meeting tomorrow at Geelong. We're already into it. Sandown Wednesday, Bendigo and Pakenham on Thursday. Bendigo and Nursery of Champions
I ignore Pakenham.
into Pakenham night. There'll be 4 maidens there, Peter. We've got to find the fastest horse in that maiden. Valley and Wodonga Friday. Yarra Valley maidens on Saturday. And then we finish with the Bull. Hopefully not too many heavyweight riders, but certainly there'll be a maiden or two there we can find the winner of.
It's a big Caulfield meeting. Every race is black type. You know, just nothing like losing momentum by being out at Cranny and Ballarat the last 2 Saturdays. And here we are at Caulfield with the Sandown meeting that everyone used to love.
You probably have to cut this out, but I feel like it's I'm not even going to say it.
All right, that's good.
Not if...
We'll cut it. We'll cut it there, and you can say it to me.
Guys, have a great week. Have a really good week. Head to themailbag.com.au if you want to get yourself a t-shirt or you want to get some betting advice or whatever you want. Bye for now.